I'm getting this video done right now because I know if I don't, people will probably whine that I didn't get this video done. So, just getting this done now because I have nothing better to do, and I kind of have to get this done. So, first problem with this theory that we are going to be delving into, which, by the way, I'm going to be calling this casket theory from now on. So, just know, everyone, if you watch this video is going to be referred to as casket theory from here on out. Just know. By the way, hello, welcome. I am Shadow Reaper. Or please just call me SR. Or, uh, welcome to the video. Sorry I didn't do an actual introduction. I'm kind of rushing here, but that aside, let's get into our first actual problem, this little theory here. So, first main problem I noticed. The player character is wrong. Let me explain. First off, there are only two real candidates of who you can be as the player character, according to this theory. One, the parents, which not sure that's likely. Like, there's not many player characters in FNAF, so I'm not entirely sure we're the parent of the child we missed, apparently. Which, by the way, I'm just going to refer to him as Cassidy, because that's the only child that makes sense right now. And then the other person, ooh, it's William. I'm not sure I have to explain why I don't think we can't be William in FNAF 4. Yes, both of these are controversial, but I'm not sure they're as controversial as Scott. Not like it. They're not let me do it. They're not controversial in the way Scott wanted them to be. They're controversial, but the problem is they'd be too controversial. Like, they'd just be so controversial, it's not believable. And, that's been a problem with FNAF, but, I don't think that was meant to be the problem. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on the player character, according to this theory, and why it's wrong, because the only two candidates, one is bad because we can't even really say we are them, and the other one is bad because the fan base would definitely not accept it. So yeah. Alright, time to get into the other few parts I don't like about this theory. This is gonna be the second part. I'm gonna split these all into different parts and then hopefully make one big thing, and then just make it all into a video, and hopefully it'll work out and I'll be able to put this in one video and get this uploaded. So yeah, my other thing is, he says we can't say for certain that we know the missing children happens in 1985, but here's what I say to that. In 1983, of course, missing child wouldn't happen because, well, one, that's when the crying child died. As in, I'm gonna say that led to Charlie's death, probably, but that's not actually fully known. But still, I'm gonna say it's very likely that Dave's death. Yes, I'm calling him Dave, not Evan, because that theory is bad. It's already been debunked, and I never really believed it personally. So yeah, calling crying child Dave because that is his name. Go watch Hypertroid's video. Oh, those of you who have not. Anyways, let's get back to the point. In 1983, William couldn't have a missing child because one, his own child had died, and two, he already got on Henry. So yeah, in 1984, he probably could have done it, but I'm gonna assume by then his rage was only still just warming up, but he wasn't at a point where, like, he wasn't at that point in his life where it was like, you hadn't killed some kids. I'm gonna assume by like 1984, he was probably still mostly tame. I say mostly because there was the tendencies he had. And in 1986, we don't know anything about 1986, so it could have probably happened there. Although the fact that we know nothing about it also probably says a lot about it not happening then. And then in 1987, William already does another missing child. So, can't happen then. So, I would say it's more likely, like, it is just most likely that the first missing child incident happened in 1985. Yes, we don't have confirmation of it, but like, in my eyes, I would say it's the most likely time for it to happen because we know another one happens sometime later, and we know from that the first one couldn't have happened any time after that, and it had to be before the second one, hence it being, well, the first one. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole missing child incident part of the timeline. And yeah, again, I'm splitting this into like multiple different parts, and hopefully I'm gonna get this into one big recording. So yeah. Alright, so I'm adding on to the last part here a little, but in this video, this part is also a bit of a problem I have as it relates to the whole missing child thing. You see, of course, in the missing children's incident, we know that Susie dies first, and then the last one has to have been Cassidy, aka the one William shouldn't have killed. But the problem I have with this whole theory is when it hit me. Well, the thing I have a problem with is how William hides the last body. See, no, he doesn't hide it in the Golden Freddy suit. No. Apparently, he decided it was better to hide it in a box. And that's when we get into my next big problem. The dead child being in a box. Oh, the amount of things I want to say about this are long. I have a long list about all the negative things I could say about this, but I will just say what I want to say in the most positive way I can. I personally do not like this. Not only does it narratively feel not satisfying, but it also ties into like my whole who the player character is and it being contradicting because see, if you put a dead child in a box, there's not many people who that dead child's gonna matter to. Like, if we're Michael, we're not gonna care about some random dead child. Well, in fact, we're like, why is a random dead child in a box? And most will be confused, which may be a little terrified because, random dead child, but still. Well, the people who matter to most, that dead child, is a parent who, again, I've already said we can't be because we don't know Cassidy's parents, and it's very unlikely that we would be Cassidy's parents. The other person it would matter to is the killer. Who, again, I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain why we would not be William in this game. So, yeah, that's another big problem I have with this theory. It's that it's the whole reveal of a dead child in the box. Like, I'm sorry, if you're gonna say Scott Cawthon hid that the entire time, like, I'm sorry, what? What? Like, that just feels wrong on so many levels, and I'm pretty sure that there's no way Scott would just be that much of a crazy to just like put a dead kid in the box. Oh, it's like I don't care if the series is known for having dead kids. There's no way Scott would go that far. Just have a dead kid in a random box. Because that would mean the answer is so simple that we really shouldn't have ever cared about it. Like, let's be honest. If it was a dead kid, we wouldn't really have to care about it too much. Like, again, dead child. This is pretty normal for the FNAF series, so like, not very important to us as fans. And in the grand schemes of the story, not that narratively satisfying or important. Like, yeah, the review, it's just not good. Like, I'm sorry to those of you who think the review's good. I'm not trying to rain on your parade. Think what you think, but to me, this review, it just falls flat. So, two more problems I have with this theory. First, apparently the whole Fred Bear Golden Face thing, it's a little contradictory. Here's what I have to say on it. In Ultimate Custom Night, if you use a death token on specifically Wizard Golden Freddy, you trigger a special jump scare where you see Golden Freddy, like classic Golden Freddy, but he looks different. His hat and bow are purple, and his eyes are, of course, white, but that's not important here. So, what I'm thinking is Golden Freddy might be Fredbear, just all, you know, modern or something. I don't know. Yeah, I do think Golden Freddy is intended to be Fredbear because he's the only other Golden Bear, and I think it just makes sense for Golden Freddy to be Fredbear because, well, I mean, if they are different, then that just makes things complicated, and I think because everyone for so long has just said, yeah, there's two spirits in Golden Freddy, I think we're just gonna roll with that because that's just been the common line of thought for a while, and yeah, that's been basically right. It's for some weird retcons and stuff. It's all weird, but like we still, a majority of people have still like agreed on Golden Freddy having two spirits because they don't agree with the retcon in FNAF 3 where if you do the good ending, Golden Freddy's lights are both out, like both spirits in him are freed, which we know is not the case because of Cassidy existing. So yeah. Now my second problem does also involve Cassidy, but for different reasons. You see, in this theory, Faden says that basically he says that purple guy doesn't stuff of, again, tying into one of my old points, purple guy doesn't stuff in Cassidy into the Golden Freddy suit. The problem with that, though, is actually also tying into when the missing Johnson happens, because by the time it happened, it said that all the children had been found. Now, a common idea around that time was that all the children had been stuffed into the 5 suits from that game: Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, and Golden Freddy, because we knew he existed, although he was rare. And that's mostly been true. So I don't know why they didn't just kind of went with the whole idea of Cassie being in a different body that wasn't Golden Freddy. I'm not sure where that came from, but that's like one of the biggest contradictions I see in this video. Like Cassie not inhabiting the Golden Freddy suit, which, well, just can't be true because Cassie is one of the 5 children that go missing during the missing children incident. And since we know William was arrested for that, he couldn't have left the pizzeria without those children. He had to be found after he already stuffed them. So, yeah, that's actually kind of the silver bullet that kills this theory. So, yeah, there's an easy way to kill this theory, and it's right here. I don't have a problem with this part, the whole mic and these pink strips. Obviously, we know this is Mike, and yeah. But what I do have a problem with is some of the implications. He says that Mike actually goes here first, then he goes to the one location, which isn't the problem itself, but there's also like there's weird things with the timeline and like which one happened first. Like, did Michael actually go to the first location and then after that he knew what was going on? I like from having been at this location first, discovering everything, and then having gone to the FNAF 1 location to have over time I'm done the whole tampering. Did he do all that and then like come here next and just instantly decided to tamper with them, spending only a day there? Or thus maybe leading to FNAF 4, or unless FNAF 4 somewhat takes place in between 1 and 2, which is possible because there's evidence that Mike had already worked at the FNAF 1 location by then, because we know. And by the way, we know this is Mike because 1, Dave / Grandchild dies in the minigames, so we know it can't be him. And tying back into the other points I've made by this point, we know it can't be William or the parent of Cassidy. We know it's certainly not the elusive Miss Afton. We know it can't be Elizabeth because she's baby. Baby. Please don't take that out of context. Although, again, there's not a lot of context in this fandom. But yeah, jokes aside, yeah, we know it can't be those people, so it really only makes sense for it to be Michael. Again, why it can't be a dead child in the box. But yeah. Anyways, back to the timeline and stuff. Yeah, it's a little hard to tell what the timeline is, and realistically, I can't really nitpick this all too much. So I'll just leave it at conflicting timeline. Might have other opinions on it at some other point. Yeah, but aside from that, really, I think I've gotten into all my points about this video.
Because the FNAF 3 guard hallucinates things on being there. Why was
I wanted to get in on the video and make sure I Oh, right. This part. Oh, the whole grave part.
Writing in faded text, and if we could solve the book that I've just sure we have of the cemetery has grass meant to realize the fifth kid's body, we'd be left to assume he was shown laboratory into other
to a hiding place.
while Bonnie's right. He'll talk at his father.
Let me just
not
skip ahead a little.
torturing him. How does he let go? How is he able not for as already to heal? Maybe on, but I'd be curious.
So that whole part about the missing grave and stuff. Yeah, the whole child that died having a random grave somewhere. I don't think that grave is actually belonging to the child. I don't think it belongs to Cassidy. Yeah, I just don't think it belongs to Cassidy because it just. Yeah, I think it would actually make more sense for that grave to belong to Dave's body, maybe, because, well, one, it was found by our player character who is Wham, and, well, of course, Wham would know the grave of someone he murdered, but it could also be the grave of his son, the son he so tragically lost. So yeah, like, there's a little bit of ways to say it's either, but I'm personally go that it's Dave and not his victim, because I don't think William would care enough about a victim of his to just bury them someplace random. So yeah, that's basically my thoughts on this video at least, and don't worry because I am going to switch to Bot's theory, or this video. Oh yes, I have different terms for this theory and this theory. So yeah, expect that right about, in a few minutes. Alright, so getting to the end of this video, I just love this theory. I love this theory. I really just love it. The criteria the Nick here uses, it's very good. Like 7-part criteria, and it really doesn't go all that difficult. Like, it's not really that difficult, the criteria. Like, hold on, let me skip a bit into this video. Skip that. Nope, that's not where we're. Yep. Alright, this is around the point.
Whatever is able of intelligence into this trap, and your dad left the special. 9 the semester, and finally 7 the contents of.
Alright, this is the criteria. So honestly, I like this criteria because it really goes over all we need to know about what was in the box. Remember, this theory was bringing the ideas up at time now for release. And I'm gonna say, even if Scott changed what's in the box, I still think, like, what's in the box would have to, like, connect to Michael. Because not only does it just feel like the character makes the most sense to be Michael, but, I mean, as you can see by one of the criteria, it would be very good for it to be Michael. Because Michael is controversial. Think about it. You're playing as Michael Afton, the man who killed his brother, the man who made his brother go through so much hell and pain that brother and just go on. Side note, this theory also explains Nightmare and Shadow Freddy. They're just Dave. Like, it's just Michael's brother. Nightmare is just Michael's brother being salty and totally betraying him for what Michael did. And then Shadow Freddy is the more chill version of Dave. Like, Shadow Freddy is basically Dave when he's like, alright, bro, it's bad to you before, but like, no, I'm just gonna kind of chill haunt you, I guess. Like, I guess that's the best way to describe Shadow Freddy. The more calm version of Dave when he's dead. I don't know. Someone knows. If you want to like say your personal thoughts on how to describe Shadow Freddy, then please go for it. Yeah, I really do think that this theory does also explain Nightmare and Shadow Freddy along with what's in the box. Again, this theory was mostly made to explain what was in the box at the time of first release, but even still, I think that what would be in the box should be something that's significant to Michael. Now, whether that's like this, like very push as a way of like him thinking of his brother, or maybe something else. Either way, whatever it is, I think it just has to be something that says we are Michael. It just has to be that because like it makes no sense that in FNAF 4 you're Michael. I guess really the only problem I have with this theory is that it doesn't have the best explanation for Plush Trap, but then again, does anyone have a good explanation for Plush Trap? Like, we're being real nitpicky at this point with the whole, there's not a good explanation for Plush Trap. Are we really expecting there to be one? Like, yeah, that's why I'm not gonna be too picky about that one, because honestly, does anyone have a good explanation for Plush Trap? But yeah, I mean, overall, I really loved this theory, and I still love this theory. Like, I just really love this theory. I actually made a freaking Reddit post about this theory, and unfortunately, it did not get a lot of attention, but that's just the way of things sometimes. But yeah, I really just love everything about this theory and everything it does. And I can't wait for the second part of this to come out, because I know this man teased that. And he also teased that he'll probably do something on sister location if he can figure it out. So yeah, I guess see you next time for his part 2 and maybe his sister location, if he ever does find out sister location. But yeah, I guess I will not promise that though. By the way, I will not promise I'll make a video if he does actually do 2 videos on that. I'll probably take a while before I do actually do that. So yeah, I'll have been warned. I'm not gonna instantly make a video if he does make those videos. But do know I will try my best to make them. But yeah, this is the point where I guess I should end it. Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed. And remember, I'm Shadow Reaper. You probably are a very smart person. FNAF is weird. Have a day.